So let me get this straight. You made a robot that is capable of having mental breakdowns? Yes. Why? Why? Well, Since Secret of the Mimic is coming out soon, and it looks like the Glamrocks won't be showing up, I think it's time we have a little conversation about these guys. Because, how do they even exist? And before you say, people built them, yeah, I know. But they didn't build them to do all this. Something's up with them, and even though it doesn't really matter, we can still talk about it anyways. Animatronics talking isn't a new thing. They talk in Sister Location, and they talk in Ultimate Custom Night, and Pizzeria Simulator. So, why is it such a big deal if the Glamrocks talk? Well, because the reason why these guys talk, and the reason why these guys talk, aren't the same. Not even a little bit. Let's have a short history lesson. Who's the first animatronic that ever talked in the series? And I mean, actually talked. Yep, Circus Baby. Now, what exactly is special about Circus Baby? I don't know. Maybe because she's possessed by the ghost of William Afton's dead daughter. Just a guess. And then we've got Pizzeria Simulator, where most of the salvaged ones speak, but they don't say much of substance. Just a good old kill line.
I always come back.
It feels like my birthday.
But all these animatronics have something in common. They contain possessed souls. And next up is Ultimate Custom Night, where everybody and their mother has something to say.
Please deposit 5 coins.
Why do you hide inside these walls?
Well, it seems that
Arr, I came for ye booty. That be treasure, you know.
The characters mostly talk like pre-programmed robots, not sentient creatures. Then there's FNAF AR. Hey, let's just skip this one. And now we're on to Security Breach. The way animatronics talk in Security Breach is on another level. Full-blown personalities, emotions, and they move like freight trains. All while having metal endoskeletons. How did they make these? Fazbear Entertainment have always been ahead in the tech department. In FNAF 2, they already have facial recognition software. In the 80s, Henry and William were in the wrong profession. They should have been spaceship engineers. Although, I guess making pizza and going to space is a pretty big jump, huh? Anyways, point is, these things are technical marvels, and how they work is a mystery. So, what's the deal? Are they possessed? Or are the Fazbear Entertainment technicians wizards? Well, I actually think the answer is somewhere in between. First of all, these animatronics clearly have a mind of their own. One that the technicians clearly didn't intend for. The Glamrocks react to things in ways that no programming ever should, like having sudden fits of rage, or having a mental breakdown. Why would anybody make robots that can cry? That clearly wasn't a design choice, not by anyone sane at least. And apparently, the Glamrocks aren't unique. After seeing the room he was born in, Freddy has an existential crisis. He starts to think that he's not special.
This must be where I was born. Look at all the endos. They're all the same. Have I always been a Freddy? Am I Monty with a different shell? What if I am not the first Glamrock Freddy?
Freddy believes that he exists as just another asset, an easily replaceable animatronic that can be switched out for another. But is that really true? After Bonnie broke, they straight up replaced him. Do you mean to tell me they replaced a band original and fan favorite after he broke once? Yeah, alright. These animatronics are clearly special and can't be easily replaced. At least, not by normal means. Maybe the Glamrocks in general aren't unique, but the 4 we see in game are. Let's talk about how the animatronics are meant to work. Imagine you're playing The Sims. You know how you give your characters traits, so even when you aren't controlling them, the AI will make them act a certain way? That's how you should see it. In theory, that system should be fine, but clearly there's something wrong, since their personality traits end up getting turned up to 11. Honestly, this may be another case of remnant shenanigans, and if you don't know what remnant is at this point, long story short, it's a magical juice taken from things that have a strong emotional connection. It can make normal objects that usually wouldn't move and act. Basically, it makes things pseudo-possessed. Although, I don't know how they know about remnant. Maybe it's an undercover Fazbear secret, and a few people at the top know about it. Either that, or it was something that Vanny did. But my point is that if it's remnant, lots of things about the Glamrocks start making sense. why they act realer than regular animatronics, why they talk realer than regular animatronics. It all starts to click. Now, let's talk about something I haven't talked about yet. Glitchtrap. At the start of the game, the animatronics become affected by a virus that makes them overly hostile towards Gregory, with Freddy being the sole exception. They end up violently pursuing Gregory, trying to rip the kid to pieces, and we're told the way they're acting isn't normal.
There must be a good explanation. They are not capable of hurting a guest. None of us are. It would go against our programming.
So what does this virus do exactly? Does it just make the animatronics angry? Well, kinda. I mean, there might be more to it, but we haven't really seen it. Yet, at least. But that's not important right now. We don't know exactly how long the security breach animatronics have been under the control of Glitchtrap. There's the scene at the start of the game, but there's no proof that this was the first instance of them being infected with it. All that showed was that Freddy had an error and had to go into safe mode. Let's not forget there's signs of Glitchtrap all over the Pizzaplex, even before the events of Security Breach. In Tales of the Pizzaplex, there are a few stories that draw attention to the Glamrock's strange behavior. Like how in the Monty Within, there's mentions of how Monty's aggressiveness has gone up, way beyond where it should be, including instances of glitches that are seemingly corrupting his programming. And then there's the Storyteller, which I think was written for the sole purpose of explaining why the Glamrocks act the way they do. You've probably heard about this story before, but the Storyteller is an AI system designed to make interactions with guests unique. But something goes terribly wrong, and the animatronics' actual personalities had been intensified tenfold. I am purposely cutting a few parts out to make it less complicated, but that's the gist of it. Whether these books are canon or not is irrelevant, because we don't need to follow them, or treat them as if they're a one-to-one telling of what happened. We just need to see the direction the person that wrote the books is trying to push us in. They're clearly trying to tell us that the animatronics have been infected with something that makes them act aggressively. The virus that infected the AI isn't normal either. There's a good chance the virus has some properties of remnant in it as well. That would make the most sense, especially since parts of William Afton's conscience are in there as well, or at least a copy of them. I believe that the Glamrocks are the result of the original AI being corrupted by a remnant virus combination, turning them into halfway possessed animatronics. By the way, I don't think this will be the end of the Glamrocks. When it comes to popularity, they're way up there. I'd say they're right behind the classics. We'll see them again, eventually I'm sure. The real question now is, where do we go from here? What will the next animatronics do? The Mimic is already pretty advanced, especially from a robot that's meant to be from the 80s or something, and he can copy anything, like a Ditto. Or more like Metalsonic. Next thing you know, animatronics will be able to give birth or something. What? They already did? When? Huh. Video's over.